Quick announcement, guys, that we're doing a special promotion through the month of December only, where you can get your unique, handmade Me, Myself, and I Christmas mug. That's right, it's your favorite logo, this time with a little Christmas hat on it, because, you know, why not? Merry Christmas, everyone. Get yours today at memyselfandi.com/store. I want to talk to you today about a very cool game from one of my favorite RPG companies of all time, Free League. That game is Vaesen. Today we'll be talking about the core rulebook as well as the supplement Mythic Britain and Ireland here on Me, Myself, and I Mailbag. Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Mailbag. I am, as always, your intrepid host, Trevor DeVal, and here we talk about game products that have been sent to me by various companies or individuals. Now, these games I typically haven't played before, but I have done a pretty thorough read of the books and supplements, and so I'm here to give you my thoughts on what these products are all about. So, let's start it off today with the main core rulebook of Vaesen. So, what is Vaesen? Well, upon first glance, it kind of seems like a type of Scandinavian Call of Cthulhu. However, that is not at all the case. Whereas Call of Cthulhu deals with bizarrely incomprehensible otherworldly entities whose very existence shatters the human mind, Vaesen is about people with the sight who are aware of and investigate local supernatural phenomena. That is, fairies, trolls, will-o'-the-wisps, that kind of thing. Creatures that are local to the particular culture, and in the core book, that culture is mythic 19th century Scandinavia. Now, in many ways, it's less H.P. Lovecraft and more Anne Rice, or that Polish fellow who wrote the Witcher books, whose name I am embarrassingly unable to pronounce. Anne Rice, in her Vampire Chronicles, introduced a group called the Talamasca, which was a group of academics who observed and recorded the doings of various supernatural phenomena. Vampires, mummies, spirits, demons, that kind of thing. Now, take that concept and mix it with The Witcher, where you have characters who go around not only with the ability to track supernatural creatures, but also with the tools to be able to banish them from our world. And that is basically what the characters in Vaesen are all about. They're able to see supernatural beings in a way that no one else is. And that could possibly get them a one-way trip to the insane asylum if they talk about it to the wrong people. And these characters have access to ancient information through a resurfacing group called the Society that can give them clues as to how to defeat the offending spirits. Now, I should point out that Vaesen are not typically rampaging monsters that need to be slain. No, they're simply aspects of an older world that once lived essentially in harmony with humanity out on the fringes of civilization. But now, with the dawning of the industrialized age of the 1800s, in which Vaesen is set, these creatures have become confused and angry. They no longer know their place in human society, and sometimes that causes them to do strange and aggressive things. Now, I really like this aspect of the game because it doesn't relegate an entire supernatural mythology to the realm of monsters that need to be killed. Rather, it's about uncovering clues as to what's going on and then trying to find the best possible way to deal with the situation, which often involves performing complicated rituals from folklore. To that end, Vaesen is primarily an investigative horror game. You use your character's skills and talents to go to the location, hunt down clues as to what's going on and what might be causing the disturbance, and then using your access to information to try and discover the best way to deal with the particular Vaesen involved. Now, if it's something like a werewolf, then yes, you may be required to hunt it down with the requisite silver bullets and put an end to it. But that is not the usual outcome of an encounter with a Vaesen. Normally, the scenarios are about trying to understand what's causing the Vaesen to act out and then deal with that particular situation. Now, that said, while the game rules are very much tilted in favor of the players, for example, shooting a typical NPC with a pistol will kill them pretty much outright, but a player character can probably take a couple shots before they go down. Now, that's a very simplistic example of what I'm talking about, but it does illustrate the point. But the world is still a very dangerous place. It would not at all be unusual to have your characters maimed, driven mad with trauma, or permanently scarred in some way from their encounters with the supernatural. You can choose to physically confront the Vaesen, but in the vast majority of cases, the best you'll be able to do is to drive it off for a few days. And that kind of fight could leave half the party dead or mad. So it is very much encouraged to find another way of dealing with the Vaesen. Now, most of the consequences and conditions of surviving an encounter with the Vaesen can be dealt with by returning to your home base, which in this case is the old castle that the society used to operate out of, and is now the de facto home for the player characters. This is a section of the game that illustrates something that Free League does very, very well, and with many of their games, and that is the base building aspect. But before we get to the details of the base building minigame, here is a quick message from this video's sponsor. This video is brought to you by Broken Anvil and their Kickstarter campaign Forged, live right now. Forged is a huge campaign full of high-quality, low-cost tabletop miniatures and original 5e compatible content for gamers everywhere. Forged includes beautifully sculpted 28mm heroic scale pre-assembled plastic miniatures, as well as awesome 5e compatible content. The more this campaign grows, the bigger your haul will become, as models continue to get unlocked along the way. Backers just unlocked this large green hag, and there are a ton more waiting to be unlocked and added to your collection. Backers have many pledge options to choose from. There's the Heroes box, the Enemy Encounters box, or the Adventure box, if you want both the heroes and enemy models. For those of you who are familiar with 3D printing, you can also choose the Adventure STL bundle to print the heroes and enemies at home. Of course, the very best value this campaign has to offer is the Forge Masters bundle, because it gets you all the minis in the Adventure box, plus the 5e Adventure module, plus the Creature Compendium, plus the 7-piece Dragon bundle, plus the 45-piece Terrain bundle. The list goes on and on. These are Kickstarter exclusive prices, so by supporting this campaign, you'll get an incredible deal on Broken Anvil's creations before they hit retail. And you'll be helping the BAM team achieve their dream of making these minis a reality. The campaign is live right now on Kickstarter. You can see it all for yourself by checking out the links in the description below. And between every mission, you not only gain experience points for your own characters to improve your skills and talents, but also you can improve and upgrade the society's castle that you call home. Now, these upgrades can give all kinds of advantages for the characters as they go on to their next mysteries. This is a thing that Free League does a lot in their games, from Forbidden Lands to Twilight 2000, all the way back to Mutant Year Zero, which I believe was their first game, or at least the first game of theirs that I encountered. In many ways, the home base, and in this case the castle, becomes just as much of a character as any of the player characters. And it gives the group a shared home, and also something that they can jointly work towards improving together, which, of course, gives an even greater sense of shared purpose. Now, this is a very focused game. It is explicitly pointed out in the rulebook that these characters are restarting the old society, that they have the sight, and that they have motivations to keep them investigating the supernatural mysteries. Now, these aspects are built right into the character building rules, so there shouldn't be any question as to what it is the characters are supposed to do. Everything in the rules and in the Game Master section keeps the action always driving towards solving the mystery. In terms of scenario structure, the book is very clear in its methodology. That is, there is a set way of presenting a mystery that the Game Master should stick to in order to make the game work most efficiently. However, and pleasingly to my eye, the book also clearly states that this is not in any way a railroad situation. The player characters are free to find any type of solution they want to the current situation. And different Vaesen have different methods of being dealt with, so the player's creativity in solving a particular mystery can be rewarded by their own ingenuity. And this, of course, can result in a very satisfying experience, both for the investigative players and for the GM running them. The book itself details the setting, the character creation, rules for rebuilding the society, a whole host of Vaesen that the characters can deal with, Game Master advice, and even an introductory adventure. This is a book very much after my own heart. I love a game book that has all the aspects that the players and GM need right out of the gate in order to start playing, including that introductory adventure. I love that. It really gives a sense of what the game is immediately just by looking at it. And it allows me to jump into the game immediately without having to buy a bunch of extra supplements. But Speaking of supplements, Free League has recently released the Mythic Britain and Ireland supplement for Vaesen, which basically takes the investigative supernatural experience from the snow-strewn slopes of the Scandinavian mountains to the bogs, fields, and forests of Great Britain and Ireland. In this book, you now have the option to play different types of investigators and to base your game in a brand new setting. Now, while the options presented are cities such as Dublin and Edinburgh to base your characters in, the lion's share of the detail goes to the city of London in England, with all its attendant mysterious places and famous people. And yes, even Sherlock Holmes is a potential NPC here. This is, after all, a mythic version of England, not an historical one. New setting details, new character archetypes, new Vaesen, and 3 new mysteries are all included in this beautifully bound and illustrated book. And to talk about these books themselves, these are just gorgeous books, both in art and construction. This seems to be a very common feature of most of the Free League products. I mean, they really take the time and effort to deliver a very sturdily produced physical product. And the art in all of their books is not only gorgeous, but also perfectly suited to the game's subject matter. Vaesen looks like a really interesting, unique type of role-playing game, and I can't wait to run it with a few of my friends. So here is a big shout out and thank you to Free League for sending me these books. And I heartily encourage all of you watching now to go check out the Vaesen product line. And in fact, all of the Free League games, I mean, there's something in their vast game library to suit just about everyone's taste, I have no doubt. And that brings us to the end of another Mailbag episode. Thank you so much for joining me here. And as always, if you want to help support the channel, you can do so by liking and subscribing, or becoming a member of the YouTube channel here, or joining us over on Patreon. And additionally, you can always check out our handmade merchandise on the Me, Myself, and Die website, including the new Christmas mug available for sale now until the end of December, or help support us by purchasing game products through the drive-thru RPG links in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next episode of Mailbag.